Hello everyone, it's Cleo here, and today we're going to be talking about the elements of harmony from the G4 My Little Pony cartoon and asking which G5 ponies would they belong to. Now what's brought up this question is this comic book cover right here. This is part of the G5 My Little Pony comic book run, but in the background we can see G4 characters behind each 4 presented in the front. This is because, of course, the G5 lore is technically all part of the same universe as G4, even if sometimes it doesn't particularly feel like it. So here, in an attempt to make you feel a little bit of nostalgia and maybe make you buy the comic book, we have Pipp with Rarity behind her, Hitch with Applejack behind him, Izzy with Pinkie Pie behind her, and Zipp with Rainbow Dash behind her. Now, of course, in case you have forgotten, the elements of harmony were generosity, honesty, laughter, loyalty, kindness, and magic. So we have generosity for Rarity here, which they're giving to Pipp, honesty for Applejack and Hitch, laughter for Izzy and Pinkie Pie, and we have loyalty for Rainbow Dash and Zipp. Now, what's interesting is, I don't know how well the elements of harmony initially fit every single character, and I don't know how well they fit these new characters, but we're going to talk about who we think should be assigned which one, because I know so many people would love to see the elements of harmony brought back for G5. So even though she's not on the cover here, we have to assume that Sunny is the element of magic. Number one, because Twilight was the main character and the wielder of magic, and because Sunny is the main character. Also because she gets this super magic form here, the alicorn, extra wings and horn, so we have to assume that's quite magical, so I think it seems to fit her and her leader status. Magic always seemed like a funny element of harmony, considering it's not real, but I suppose it's just part of the name, friendship is magic, so it's all one encapsulated thing in that particular jewel. Next up we have generosity for Rarity, which sometimes in the cartoon she was not particularly generous, sometimes in fact she was quite the opposite. It was never the perfect fit, but that's okay because sometimes characters need to do slightly unkind things to make a story even happen. Here we have Pipp as being generosity. Now, in a lot of ways, she does fit as being quite a lot like Rarity. For a start, they have very similar hair. They're both quite vain and glamorous and love the idea of being in the spotlight. But I can't really think of any particular instance of Pipp being generous any more so than any other pony in the series. All it is that she's kind of the best fit for Rarity, not particularly generosity, because I can't really say that Rarity fit it particularly well. Next we have laughter for Pinkie Pie, which is very obvious. That one did fit perfectly well because she's constantly trying to make all of the ponies laugh and seems to achieve that very easily, so it just fits perfectly. As for Izzy, I would say it seems a little sad to just make her the same as Pinkie Pie, who is already a more simple character than the others. And then Izzy in the movie was more kind of complex than that, and now she's kind of been dumbed down to be even more simple than Pinkie Pie was, even in her simplest episodes. So that's a little bit of a shame, but I can't say it doesn't fit because it's definitely what they're going for with Izzy, that she's just kind of this silly goofball, as much as it seems a little sad to simplify her to that degree. So I think that one does fit. We have honesty for Applejack, which generally is very true throughout the series. They do try to really drive it home that Applejack is honest, sometimes to a fault. And then we have Hitch as honesty, and if it's well enough, it does fit well enough, but I think we could probably make something fit a little better for him. Of course, we have loyalty for Rainbow Dash, and I can't really see that it fit particularly well for her either. There have definitely been occasions where she's considered being disloyal. Once again, in the same way Rarity considered being not very generous, or just genuinely wasn't very generous. In a lot of ways, I think Rainbow Dash and Applejack probably should have swapped places with who was loyal and who was honest, because Applejack was definitely very loyal to that family and a farm of hers, whereas Rainbow Dash definitely could be very brutally honest. So it always kind of made more sense to me the other way around. I think they probably should have been swapped to start with. And then with Zipp being loyalty, I don't particularly see it for her. I guess she could be. She's not really been shown that much compared to the number of hours we had of Rainbow Dash on screen, so maybe she will show her true loyalty. Once again, it does seem more that it's just because she's very similar to Rainbow Dash. Her character and whole design, her attitude, everything about her is very much like Rainbow Dash was. And then finally we have kindness, and we don't have an available pony for that because there's only 5 main characters. However, I think This character Misty here could very well end up being one of the main characters as the series progresses. She definitely looks cute enough to join them. She doesn't look like a villain, so I think she might very well end up joining the main characters, and then she could very well be mapped to the element of kindness, because perhaps she will go from being a bad guy to being especially empathetic. So I think if I were to assign the elements of harmony to each of the main 6 ponies, because I'm going to say it right now, I am pretty convinced that Misty's going to join the gang and we're going to treat it as if she will. I think Sunny fits perfectly as Magic, and I definitely would keep that the same. And I think Izzy works fine as Laughter. Definitely that should just stay the same, keep it pretty simple. But I do think that Hitch and Zipp should swap places. I think much like Applejack and Rainbow Dash should swap places, those two should swap their elements. It definitely seems like Zipp would be more towards brutally honest, whereas Hitch was extremely loyal to his job and the Earth ponies and his whole cause there. So definitely I think they should swap places, and that just makes a lot more sense. As for generosity and kindness for Pipp and this new character Misty, I can't really say who should have one more than the other. They're relatively similar traits for a start. We don't know Misty, so we don't know what to assign to her, and then Pipp is not particularly generous or particularly kind, not any more so than any of the other ponies, so it really could go either way. But generosity definitely would map quite nicely to Pipp, just given the similarities in character to Rarity, and we know that was Rarity's element. Having said this, maybe the element of kindness doesn't belong to anybody. Maybe Misty won't be part of the group. Maybe the element of kindness is kind of more part of the main crystals we've seen throughout G5, because it definitely seems that if the ponies are not treating each other with kindness, as is stated many times throughout this series already, then everything, all of society just seems to completely crumble, and the crystals just go kaput if they're not treating each other with kindness at all times. So it seems that kindness has been elevated above all else, whereas before in G4, we had the element of magic elevated above all others. Maybe the element of kindness has been made the main one for this series. But of course, as always, I'd love to know what all of you think. Let me know in the comments what your theories are for the elements of harmony in G5. Will they return for the main series? It certainly looks like they've returned in the comics, but will they come back in the cartoon? I think loads of us would love to see that happen, because they had so much lore attached to them and they had a deeper story than we've seen in G5 so far. So I think definitely it would be a nice thing to see that come back. I would be okay with them changing it a bit. It wouldn't have to be exactly the same as depicted before, but just the general idea would be nice. But at the same time, maybe it's just too similar to the crystals they're already working with. We'll just have to wait and see. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please do not forget to give it a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.